Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis, and today we're going to be talking about Hedera and Hbar'S. So sit back, relax, and before we fully jump on into this video, I do just want to ask guys to please leave a like on this video. It does help the channel grow immensely, and of course I always do greatly appreciate that. Now, I hope everybody's having a great weekend so far. In terms of Hbar, I really want to talk to you guys about some exciting things, especially something that I do think is going to be a massive catalyst, for Hedera's success. We're actually going to be addressing that in the later part of this video, but I also want to talk to you guys about some stuff with Bitcoin. Of course, I'm going to do a full market breakdown later on, but for now, I do want to address a few things. So first off, let's talk about Bitcoin and some targets for, of course, Bitcoin. So first off, we are coming in hot with this tweet from Credible Crypto. So as you guys do know, in terms of Hedera, or I should say Hbar, my targets haven't changed for Hbar. I see that question actually being here asked for cred as well. In my opinion, I'm still looking at $3 to $6 on Hbar. I do believe that we will see that before 2022 ends. But if we are talking about Bitcoin, a lot of individuals are saying that we are in a bear market. And, I'm sort of in the same position on where Credible Crypto is or where any other analyst is. We do see here, it's funny, post 2017 peak, I was called a perma bull or perma bear, sorry, for calling for 3K Bitcoin when we were, trading at 12K plus after peak at 20K. Now I'm being called a perma bull for calling for 100K plus. I'm not a perma bear or a perma bull, just bearish in bear cycles and bullish in bull ones. This is also the idea on where I am at this. There's no reason to be bearish right now in this market at all. Bitcoin is making higher lows, continuing to move upward in a nice upward trend. Even if you go look at the 1 year chart, you could see our low printed by the end of almost January. It was around January 21st, hit 35K. Of course, our other low was put in place during the summer. Okay, so on the macro view, we're still looking good. We're still having this nice slow upward trend. But if we are talking about the low being put in, I do believe that the macro low is pretty much in place for Bitcoin, which from here, excuse me, looks pretty good for alts as well, and Hbar definitely is one that has my attention. We also seen, in the weekly recap of this week that just passed, we've seen a lot of updates. Biden signs crypto executive order, Dubai reveals crypto legal framework, South Korea elects a pro-crypto president. Thailand approves pro-crypto tax rules. State Street, wants to offer crypto custody, and Goldman Sachs offers access to Ethereum fund. There is so much happening within this market that is so bullish for crypto, and here we have a lot of individuals still calling for a bear market. It makes no sense. Also, for NFT.com, I've seen a lot of individuals flooding this project now because, of course, it is built on, Ethereum. The UI was, pretty rough. For the most part, I want you to all realize that they are still integrating Hedera into this ecosystem. We even see here, a quick thread on NFT.com below. In fairness to and consideration of the diversity of the NFT.com community, varied team member backgrounds, and most importantly, in the interest of creating an impartial DAO, which is critical to the long-term success of NFT.com, NFT.com will strive to be an independent, nonpartisan project that seeks to be both varied and fair in its support and use of multiple blockchains. For example, while initial NFTs will be built on the Ethereum blockchain to leverage the existing Ethereum tolling, Hedera, Solana, and Tezos ecosystems will be amongst the first planned for the initial integration into the NFT.com directory and leader board. Now, we also see the Hedera consensus service will be used to track the minting of all NFT.com profiles on the DAO leaderboard. The overall principle that will be upheld by the NFT.com DAO is to strive to use blockchain infrastructure tools that are both in the best interest of the project and demonstrate wide use and global support of the decentralized ecosystem. Now, everyone was, concerned about this, saying, NFT.com is built on Ethereum. What is the case here? This is so bearish for Hedera. Guys, we knew that NFT.com was going to be built on, Ethereum since around the October-November timeframe. I actually reported on this during that time. We knew that this was the case. Of course, yes, we did have our hopes up saying that, hey, NFT.com could be built on, Hedera going back to the summertime. But this is something that, in my opinion, is not going to be, game changing at all for Hedera at all in terms of, upside potential. But I will say this, in terms of NFT.com, the UI looks a little rough. I will say that. I was hoping for a little bit cleaner of a UI, but the graphics and stuff like that look incredible. I think that things look pretty good from a graphical standpoint, but a UI standpoint, things look a little bit rough. But that doesn't mean to say that NFT.com is a disaster, it's a disappointment, or anything like that. I just think that when we are talking about the future of NFT.com, we should be hoping for the best of the best from, of course, the future of NFT.com and the successful points that we could lead to if NFT.com is a big success. Meaning, hey, guess what? Hedera will be integrated, and Hedera Consensus Service will be used to track the minting of all NFT.com profiles on the DAO leaderboard anyway. So there's still, a lot of integrations happening with, Hedera. So I'm not too concerned at all with that. And we also see here, people think Hedera is falling behind the other layer 1 networks. Utility is the only true metric for network success, and Hedera is the only DLT that brings true utility to the world. Measuring networks, success in an immature market based on a market cap is the biggest mistake. And I don't think that it is the only DLT that brings true utility. We also see, for an example, like the XRP Ledger and stuff like that are doing fairly well. So I don't think it's the only DLT, but it definitely is one of the leading names in the space right now that is bringing true utility to, of course, the space and the world. But it is the truth, right? Like, you cannot just measure a project success in market cap or price alone, okay? Like, that it just does not make sense at all to do that. Of course, does that, benefit the individuals that are holding the project? 100%. And, you could say that, price action goes a long way for those individuals that are holding. But at the end of the day, this project is still continuing to be built out. We are still in a very infant market. So I'm very excited to watch the growth unfold. And we also see here, let them, facts talk today. I would like to compare the total number of transactions on Hedera with some of the most popular top ranked by market cap platforms. And of course, we do see EOS, Tron, BSC, XRP Ledger, Ethereum, Polygon, etc. We're absolutely killing the game right now. A lot of these other transactions are, they're recording like other things that are like failed transactions and stuff like that. But for the most part, I will say this, Hedera outscaling almost all of the competition in less than 2 years is absolutely massive and should be extremely bullish for those individuals that are holding HBAR. It means that the network demand is fairly high, and I understand that a lot of people will say, well, this is only off of like 2 use cases. Yeah, I get it. There's not a lot of other use cases on Hedera that are fully live and transacting at massive rates day by day, but I will say this, if we are at these numbers off of just a few use cases alone, like ad stacks and stuff like that, just imagine where Hedera will be once the network is being fully utilized by the 80 plus use cases that are already built on, of course, Hedera. Now, I also want to reiterate exactly what is being said in this video. Listen closely to what Kevin O'Leary is saying about crypto and blockchains in general.
You're like I don't know where you are on crypto. You were so negative for a while and just definitive, like you always are. You may know nothing, but you're never in doubt. But you were so negative. Then you got totally positive. Do you own Bitcoin now? Kevin, what's your position in crypto right now? You do. Have you sold major parts of it? You have a lot of it, or as much?
No. Look, Bitcoin is not a coin, Joe. It's simply software. Ethereum is software. If you own, Hbar'S software, if you own Microsoft, if you own Google, why don't you own Bitcoin? It's all software. It's productivity software.
You own one Bitcoin? You own, do you have a real position?
And did you catch that, guys? Listen closely yet again.
If you own Google, why don't you own Bitcoin? It's all software. It's productivity software.
You own one Bitcoin, you own...
So it's all about software. If you own Google, if you own this, if you own that. But he also mentions that he owns HBAR, a significant... he doesn't, really kind of give us the transparency of how much he holds or anything like that. But this is significant in the idea on knowing that these individuals also see the potential behind this technology.
Bitcoin is not a coin, Joe. It's simply software. Ethereum is software. If you own, Hbar'S software, if you...
HBAR is software. You got to realize what is being, built. You got to understand what Hedera is doing. I'm not saying that this should make you bullish at all. This is just one individual owning a certain asset. I don't get bullish over these billionaires or millionaires, whatever the case may be, holding a specific asset that I'm holding. It doesn't really matter to me too much, but it does matter for retail demand and FOMO. Like if Kevin O'Leary shouted out, Hedera tomorrow saying that he owns, I don't know, like 5% of his portfolio in HBAR, people will definitely run and jump and go buy HBAR tomorrow, but that doesn't matter to me, and I don't like, when something pumps off of something like that, because one, it's unstable, and two, it's people that don't know about the technology. They're just doing it because some other individual is buying it. But I will say this kind of solidifies the idea on, like, you need to understand the potential behind crypto. I mean, 20% of his portfolio is now in crypto and blockchains. So realize the potential that is, being unlocked through crypto, and you got to understand that, at the end of the day, we are still in a very infant market. And also, we do see here, whether or not you support it from a political standpoint, sustainability and environmental impact will be a massive narrative in crypto. It's already a narrative, and everything else, manufacturing, fashion, automobiles, technology, etc., to think otherwise is succumbing to bias. And I want you to all realize right now, okay, that we are seeing a major update within sustainability and environmental impact within this entire market. The best thing about this is that we are even seeing major banks realize this. Morgan Stanley says Bitcoin cannot escape energy requirements, because we have been seeing a lot of individuals saying, hey, well, what if we use green energy to power Bitcoin? Guys, this just solidifies the idea that proof of work mechanisms like Bitcoin and Ethereum are just way too they're not energy sustainable at all, and they are way too energy demanding to be as successful as something as big as, Hedera, for an example. And I don't say that to be biased at all. I just want you guys to realize that, these networks, for example, Ethereum, right, needs to have massive upgrades being pushed, aka Ethereum 2.0 and so forth, to actually get to the point where it could be massively adopted. But we have networks here that are already ready for mass adoption and global adoption. This is exactly why I want you guys to understand that when we are talking about Hedera and we're talking about these other DLTs, these are going to be huge in terms of what is happening right now within crypto, which is the focus point on sustainability. We're even talking about, carbon credits and stuff like that. And we even see, down here, they also see a continued risk of governments restricting energy use for crypto mining, noting that as energy costs have risen, countries such as China and Kosovo have banned mining, while others have restricted the activity. Okay, and we even see here, means of supporting financial inclusion due to relatively low cost, low barriers to entry relative to the traditional banking system, relatively fast transaction times for cross-border payments, the bank said. And this is with respect to social considerations. Cryptocurrencies are often viewed as this. But there is still a need for internet access, inherent volatility in fees, and the cryptocurrencies themselves, and crypto doesn't solve the key issue of underbanked individuals having an insufficient money. But we also see a lot of projects being built around that area. Even Hedera is focused on the underbanked individual population. But they are, like, you got to realize that sustainability is a key factor. And this is also a massive catalyst for Hedera, because we know that Hedera is carbon negative since August, by the way. Okay, so again, you got to realize what is, happening here. Okay, and what is happening is the idea that we are seeing major problems being cited around energy usage. You guys can obviously see the average transactions per day with Hedera, Ethereum, and even Bitcoin, with the kilowatts an hour and even the CO2 levels being noted, and even times less efficient. You guys can see it all here broken down. This is why I invest into these other DLTs. This is exactly why when we are comparing and contrasting mass adoption on some of these networks, it is impossible for Ethereum and Bitcoin to keep up to Hedera in terms of adoption. I mean, first off, Bitcoin is never going to be utilized for financial services. Anybody who is saying that is obviously a Bitcoin maxi. We know that Bitcoin is more of a store of value. It's almost like gold. That's basically what Bitcoin is in terms of its main use case. Now, Ethereum is interesting because it could be utilized for financial use cases, but the issue is who is going to pay the astronomical fees. And also, we are still seeing a major problem from a sustainability and environmental impact area. This is why Hedera and other DLTs alike are quickly outscaling and being out adopted by, of course, compared to Ethereum and other networks like that. So these DLTs are, being adopted at such a massive rate. They're continuing to grow and grow and grow. And this is exactly why I do believe that Hedera, or I should say Hbar, is an incredible opportunity for us. I always say this, and everybody continues to look at the price. They continue to reflect on it and say, if Hedera is so good, why is it still at 20 cents? I get it. Okay, I understand. But you got to have a little bit of a bigger picture idea here for Hedera. Have a little bit of a vision. I get it. We all want to make money. We all want to retire. We don't want to work. We want to, kind of go and enjoy life, live life, and invest in other things and create massive opportunities for ourselves that don't demand our time. I get that. Okay? But you also have to realize that you don't get rich overnight in this market. Absolutely not. In fact, those individuals that got rich off of Solana, okay, weren't the individuals buying Solana at $50. Okay? The individuals that got rich off of Solana were the individuals buying Solana back here in 2020 and had to hold it until, 2021, almost 2022. So you got to realize that it's time in the market, not timing the market. And this is the same thing that I say with Hbar as well. Hbar will have its time. Okay, similar to XRP, XLM, etc. They will all have their time. You just have to be patient enough to hold until that time. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys want more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, I hope that you all have a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.